friends, it's Nancy, and now we're going to do some work on these collaged junk mail envelopes. Something I did want to point out is in some of these I used book page that I had embossed. Like this one, this was an inscription from inside a book, so I embossed that, tore it up a bit. So if that's interesting to you, I just thought I'd point that out because it's kind of a fun element. Anyway, some of these projects will be simple, and others will take a little more work. So we'll just go through things together slowly. So of course, I'm going to use this piece of paper to demonstrate what a junk journal page could look like with items made out of these collaged envelopes attached. So this one, I think we can safely do without too much to do. So this is the envelope, and I've simply stitched it closed. This little miss here, she's a piece of paper that I glued to the back. I fussy cut it out of a vintage book. If you're stitching around the window, it can be a little complicated because there's not enough room in the throat to turn the envelope. So take your time and, bend it as you need to. So this, I was thinking, could be a tip-in. Now, there's a couple ways this could be tipped in. It could be like glued to one edge and then the edge folded, and I guess I can. Edge folded and then glued or sewed right there. Now, of course, this is too long, so I would trim it, of course, and it could be a little shorter. And I would probably also do a thumb hole. Now, I'm not going to trim this right now, and I'll tell you why, because I might do a tall book. But I certainly will punch a little thumb hole in there. Oh, goodness. Might have to use a knife to finish that off. Here's one. Here's two. I haven't done any inking yet. I can do that when I make my journal. So that's idea number one. If you didn't want to tip that in, you could do like washi tape to the edge of the page. You could do some fabric to the edge of the page. And if I was using this, I would use a more substantial page than this. Is just typing paper that's been tea dyed. All right, the next thing I want to show you is how you can add it into the signature of a book. So I've just got this piece of lace. This one I'm going to do. So I am going to just glue this lace along the edge. And I think I'm going to use my art glitter glue because it doesn't glitter. So I'll trim this down a bit. If you don't have lace or you don't want to use lace, you could also use like a piece of muslin, strip of muslin. I'll try to get that on there evenly. More or less. Okay, gonna quickly sew. Okay, so that's stitched down. So in order to sew this into the signature of a book, I better put my pin back in my glue before I wreck it. So I've got a couple pieces of paper here to represent pages in a signature. So you've got this page. I'm going to put this one in. And just like an 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch away from that fold. And then this one on top. Okay. Then you'll do your regular stitching, whatever method you use to stitch in your signatures. And then you'll have this movable page. Now on this side, you could glue this lace down or put some hand stitches in there. Or sew it to this page before you sew in the signature, and then you've got a nice little tuck. You could use even a wider piece of lace if you want a bigger pocket. Now, right now I can still trim this down because I'm just going to cut off the top of the lace with the top of the envelope. That leaves us the back. So the back, you got some opportunities to add some space for journaling by taking a piece of let me just grab this. By grabbing a piece of tracing paper. This one is really darkly tea stained, and this side's a little lighter. And gluing that down, you'll still be able to see some of the images behind, but this will give you a nice space to write. You could also just pin on some sheets of paper or however you want to do it. That leaves this open to pop in a tag or a letter. You could fold a letter in thirds, like a regular page, and it should fit in there, in theory. In theory. So that is our first idea. Okay, next let's do another one. So this is a window I made myself. So I am going to want to cut this. I got a pencil to mark this. And I sort of want it the same. So it's almost 3/4 of an inch from that edge. Looks a little off to me. Let me cut it first and then we'll see. Didn't cut all the way through. Okay. Now similarly, we're going to make a pocket out of this one. And it can go this way or it can go this way. I think I'm going to go this way. So the fold is at the bottom. I'm going to stitch around the window, then I'm going to stitch around the sides. Be right back. Okay, the stitching's done. I just want to make sure that you understand that I stitched this while the card was still open, while the envelope was still open, and then did the stitching around the edges once it was closed. Otherwise, you have just a closed card. This time we'll add a little ink. And I ink where the paper overlaps. To give it a little dimension. And ink around the window. Okay, now this can be used one of two ways in your book. It can be placed on a page like this, or it can be placed on a page like this, and it's a side-loading pocket. A tuck spot, perhaps. You could just adhere it on two sides and then use this as a tuck spot and this as a pocket. So there's lots of options with this little baby. We have this piece left over. I think what we'll do with this is make a little booklet. So I'm going to do some inking. And you just do as much inking as you like. If you don't like it at all, don't do it. If you're a big fan, you should just go for it. Okay. So what I want, I think I'll use this as the front. And I'm going to grab a photograph. I don't think I'll use a genuine photograph, although I could. And the reason I'm not going to is because, I mean, it's going to be super heavy if I did. Yeah, it'd be super heavy and I don't want to add a lot of weight to it. Although I do have some little snapshots, I could use one of those because they're not as heavy. Let me just see if there's one on top that I like. Not especially. What's this one? Here's a sailor. He's in front of some kind of a monument, I guess. That's kind of cute with that color of photograph, isn't it? There's one at the beach. Oh, this one's cute. The kid on his bike. Stan Price and Tommy somebody. So even a couple little photos might be cute. But I am going to elect to use a a photograph that's been cut out of a magazine or a book. So while I do have lots of old photographs, I'm going to use one of these. And I just keep them in this envelope thingy. Kind of hoping I can find something that's got more of a sepia tone. Aw, there's a nurse. I don't know who all these people are. I think I'm going to go with that square one. Something about it is just calling to me. I have a lot of these kind. Look at this baby. I like that old house too. Aw, there's a little girl and her daddy. I'm going with that one. Okay. So that one already looks matted with photo corners around it. So I'm just going to trim that white stuff away. And look at me, I'm getting brave, using scissors. Did you hear that noise? That means my video's done. It's all processed. Okay. Just going to ink this to make sure none of the white is showing. I think I'll grab a piece of this music paper and maybe this book page. I always like it when you can see the clefts. I'll glue this down first. Oh, this has writing on it. So I want to make sure I don't wreck that. Save that. That might be fun to collage. And I'll ink that first. You know what? I think I'll add some lace to this too before I attach it to that piece. Let's see what I got in my drawer here. Something a little wider. You're wider. I'll have to use my rotary cutter to square that edge up. And try not to cut my thumb off, because that was totally a possibility. Make sure I have the right side up. Just using a straight edge and my rotary cutter to cut that piece off. Okay. Okay. We'll ink this up. I wonder if this is going to be too big now. As possible too. I have a problem. I like to create big pieces. I gotta stop because they don't fit into a lot of books. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a little bit off. That's fine. Just going to add a few dots of glue here. And then I'm going to glue this little family down. Okay, I'm going to stitch this. Be right back. Okay. So I've stitched just around the book page that's framing that photo. And I thought, okay, well, I got to decorate this. So I had a couple of options. I was thinking about cutting, like fussy cutting some of these flowers out of this piece of, it's a collar. But I think that's going to be just a little overwhelming. So I changed my mind about that. I got a piece of linen here. It's kind of an oatmeal color, I guess. So I just cut a little square. And pull some threads. So I inked the wrong side so that like the fringes have got some extra color. And then I'm gonna, I love this little button. Let me bring it up a little closer. It's got lots of variations in color in it. And of course I'm going to stitch this. Needed more spit. And younger eyeballs. Okay. that's fine. That's enough for now. So this is some kind of, I'm guessing it's some sort of embroidery. And it has, how many plies? 4? I think it might be 4 ply. Okay. Now before I adhere this down, I want to put some pages in our little booklet. Let's see what we got down here for pages. Actually, I have some little scraps made up. Have to trim that a bit. That's better. It's a little wider. Yeah, I will often, if I have offcuts, I will just zigzag them together to make a little pad of paper. And the rest I'll just saw right off. That should work. There we go. And now for our family. I guess I don't have to use that. I'm trying to keep it pretty close to the edge because I don't want the music paper to lift up. Perfect. That turned out cute. So that's our next piece. How are we doing for time? Oh, I think we'll cut it off for now and come back in the next video and do a couple more projects. Thanks for joining me today. Take care. All right.